Hey guys, welcome to our movie review for Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. If you enjoy these extra reviews, please consider supporting us on Patreon and the YouTube join button. So yeah, let's jump right into this particular film. So obviously we've had, 6, 7 films on
20.
Resident 27 films from Mila and her husband, Anderson, who, produced the Resident Evil series. So as a fan of the first, I especially Marilyn Manson's Seizure of Powers, fucking awesome song. Look it up. In fact, this film, I think, kind of tries to do a riff on it without having to pay Marilyn Manson or anything.
I don't think they paid for anything in this film.
A worse rendition. Okay, so I think Joe will let you know what he thinks. But so obviously, this film is based on Resident Evil, the video game series, and the director/writer Johannes Roberts, who is previously known for
Fast and Furious. Keep scrolling.
known for
disappointing his parents.
known for I can't find anything. He decided that he wanted to make the movie much closer to the video games, paying respect and homage to the video games. And this film actually sticks much closer to the video games than the Anderson ones. I can say that for it. It mixes Resident Evil 1 with Resident Evil 2, almost kind of has them set simultaneously.
Yeah, because there was some I was like, I don't remember that in Resident Evil 1.
Yeah.
So.
Unfortunately, as fans of the video game, I think all three of us are big fans of Resident Evil. It just does those games over again, only worse. And it's like staying more faithful to the series should have worked out. You would think, but it really, I don't know if it's his direction, his writing, but it all comes out to incredibly dull. First off, the characters, I think, are miscast. Almost everybody, number one, doesn't look like themselves. Fucking Leon looks like Carlos. Fucking,
Watch my back.
Nobody looks like themselves. I think the only one that I think they got right was Chris. I think Chris looks fine. As far as their acting skills, I think pretty much all of them put in a flat, uninspired performance. In particular, everyone. Wesker is not charismatic. This is an early version of Wesker, obviously, if we're going with Resident Evil 1. Was a little disappointed with his character. I was disappointed that they decided not to put in Barry. Where's the Barry? No Jill Sandwich here. That was a big mistake to get rid of Barry. But honestly, it just fell flat to me. In fact, I initially thought it was going all right. So I said, you know what? Okay. I'm like, all right. I'm not hating this
10,
so far.
15 minutes.
Right,
I was like getting excited. I was like, okay, all right. This isn't so bad. And then
I look at my watch. It's an hour and 15 minutes in, and literally nothing has happened. Yeah. It's building, and it's building, and it's building. Now, as a fan of the video games, I'm like, get to the fucking outbreak already. But maybe this is an introduction of Resident Evil, the video game series, to mass audiences. And through that vehicle, I think it does its job. But you would be better off playing the video games. You'd be better. It lacks the creativity. And it just kind of rehashes everything that we already know as video game fans. I'm curious what somebody outside of Resident Evil fandom would think. So I asked my girlfriend. She went with us. We also had Ray come with us as well, although Ray, I think, is a fan of Resident Evil.
He knows what's going on.
But my girlfriend didn't, and she was like, that was dull. That was just, she gave it a 5 out of 10, because she's just like not interested. And it does take a while for this outbreak to get going. And by the time it gets going, it feels like it has a rushed third act and some pretty bad CGI.
Terrible.
We were seeing that in the trailer, and we were like, maybe.
We just confirmed it when watching it.
Look, they spent a lot of time letting you know this happens in the late 90s, right? They show a Palm Pilot, and everyone's like, oh, people
what
got
the fuck
beepers.
is a chat room?
And then to make sure that
like
they,
that,
they
though.
were true to life, they used CGI from 1998. This is the worst CGI I have seen in a movie theater in a very long time.
The dog
This is
looked
a
pretty bad.
made-for-TV movie.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. So, anyways, what did y'all think?
I thought this was trash.
Trash.
Damn.
Even though it's more faithful.
Yeah,
no.
It was.
You think
It definitely is more
you think any
faithful.
of those characters are more faithful?
Yes.
That's what
with a few twists.
Oh, I hated Leon.
You think that Leon was a
Hated him.
huge idiot, bumbling bitch?
I'm not talking
Yes.
about Leon.
You mean
Leon? They made Leon a moron.
So
Yes.
there's some
Leon is
scenes to make it
literally-
faithful, but like the scenes of Resident Evil aren't Resident Evil for me. It's like
Correct.
the characters are so fucking bad, or they are acted so poorly that this movie is not worth watching if you're a fan of the franchise. It will piss you off. Sorry, it's your turn.
No, basically what you were saying. I told Alex, I was like, why did he make Leon a bitch? Like, no, they were trying to go for comic relief.
You
or
mean
something.
Carlos?
Carlos. Yeah.
Carlos. Everyone was miscast. Everyone did a dull ass job trying to create their character. I don't know what the fuck this movie was.
This is cosplaying, Joe.
Cosplay
That's
zombies.
basically what it was. None of the fucking jokes worked, but you were saying about mass audience, the people next to me
Yes.
were loving it.
Really?
Yes.
I fucking
Those
Those
hell
people
no.
were laughing
they were
at like
laughing at
trailers from
everything.
other movies. Like there's a Coke commercial, and they're like, "That's funny." That's the kind of people that were sitting next to us.
But they love the movie. There's so many terrible parts in this that just pulled me out. Like the acting, the CGI, the story. I was like, what? No, this doesn't make sense. That the writing is just all over the place for me, and it should have kind of, if it wanted to stay truthful, kind of follow that. But even then, I don't know what was going on with the story. I can't really spoil it
Because
but
we'll talk about it in spoilers.
So many,
They
like,
probably should have
dumbass-
chose one game or the other. Smashing the two
Yeah,
games
they're,
together
like, just
might
trying
have
too much.
distracted from the overall flow of a horror film, because the fourth offense that you need to add is it's not scary. It has no frights. It's not.
yeah.
You didn't like
There's
the
the
gun
thing-
kata
there's
scenes
no-
that they were doing?
There's no tension. Which
Yes.
gun kata
Dude,
scene?
you know, when was the last time you saw
Yeah.
Equilibrium, where it's like all of a sudden it goes dark and then there's flashes and they're in
Oh,
different
okay.
scenes shooting things?
Equilibrium.
They have this like weird gun kata scene that doesn't make any fucking sense. And I think it's supposed to be scary, where he's firing his gun and like his lighter's not working and a zombie's getting closer and his lighter goes out. And it's so stupid.
Yes.
I just hate it. It bothers my eyes
Well,
in particular.
it
with
was
character
just nothing but jump scares. Like the thing I liked about Resident Evil is like there's some tension building up. You don't know what's behind the door, what's going on. They're just like jump scare.
Yeah, I was waiting for a dog jump scare. They
Nope.
fucked that up in the trailer. There's no dog jump scare. There's no. So it is a
Even when you
shallow, hollow facsimile of its former self, Joe.
Even when you
is what it
see
is.
the dog, it's
Uh-huh.
laughable with the
it's
CGI.
really
you're like,
bad.
you're distracted by the CGI. I guess, that's why they were like, let's make it darker so they
Not
don't
sure if
see.
it's that bad, but yeah, it is bad.
This movie is so bad, Screen Gems should have
No.
to change their fucking name, because this was not a gem. This is a turd.
oh,
They should
Sony Pictures Screen
Yeah,
Gems.
yeah, buy Screen Gems. It should be turds. Screen turds, because this is a turd. It is not very good at all.
Jeez.
What was good about this movie? The gunshots sounded terrible. There was the guns were either punching cardboard noises, like
They didn't do their own thing. They stayed close. I mean, goddamn, Sherry Birkin's in it. Motherfucking Lisa Trevor is in it. Trevor's, it stays very faithful. Now they kind of switch around Claire. They make Claire like an instant badass. She has a thing with Chris and her were raised in an orphanage. This is kind of the new kind of twist thing that they put on there. And then there is an after credits scene which brings in more characters that we know.
The moaning scene?
Alex is shaking his head no.
the moaning scene where
The
he doesn't
moaning
stop
scene.
moaning for 2 minutes and he's gyrating and twisting and The after credit scene that you're talking about, where they reveal the thing, and he's crawling out of the bag, and he's just going,
Can you shut the fuck up, Alex? Don't fucking ruin it.
Don't see this fucking movie.
Anyways. Okay, so another thing they did is they added the police chief. I thought the police chief was funny. The police chief tried to get the fuck out of there. Kind of knew what the hell was going on, and kind of give you some context to this city is fucking quarantined and walled off. You're not getting out. Umbrella is basically locking down the city, and they have until 6 a.m. to get the fuck out of there because they're gonna fucking bomb the place. Though when they finally do show bombs, it's like, what's going on? Is that a bomb? Is it a nuclear bomb? Or is it like 2 explosions in the background? What's happening? But it's a little, again, CGI probably. The budget probably. I don't know. But yeah, so it basically follows the plot line of Resident Evil 1 and 2 simultaneously, only doing it worse and without any of kind of the scares and the tension. But as far as production design, things look similar to the game, but then why do that and then fuck up your casting in that way? I don't know. I don't understand. Anything else to say about this? You guys want to say anything else? So you say bad CGI, bad acting, bad writing, bad casting.
Yeah.
There's nothing redeemable in this for you guys. What about the monsters? Did you enjoy the zombies? Did you enjoy the creatures?
No.
Not even.
Wow. Okay.
They're the ones that were sitting at the gate where they constantly keep showing the same screen where zombies shove open a metal gate in a police station. It doesn't make any sense anyway. But it's
one thing I did, okay, I'm going to try to get some positive things. Because it's not, for me, it was an utter trash garbage. I've seen worse. Cowboy Bebop is adapted more insultingly and trash, more trash than this is. Well, certain episodes are better than this because it's 10 episodes versus just one movie. But anyways, I like the small town thing that they do. I like the fact that, Racoon City is a dying city, and it's kind of like, it's, just basically employees are left, poor people are left, people that can't leave. And, in the beginning of the film, it has this kind of unease, around within the city. And there's relatively some good gore here and there that it does get ruined by CGI a lot at times. I'm trying really hard.
You're
guys.
trying, but when all of those points are undone by the movie itself because there's an outbreak in the city. It is in the water, but the city isn't quarantined till what, weeks later? So the city's not actually quarantined, and so they're like, oh, this outbreak's happened. It's like, oh, but it's been in the water for weeks now.
Yeah, and people could just travel to and fro.
There's truckers going through, stopping up to get food.
It doesn't make sense.
Nothing about this movie was thought out. All of the things they established.
It follows the video games all fucking time.
To a point, it follows the video game. The issue is the video game, video games don't all go through and say, this is exactly the timeline, this is exactly what happened. And the more you try to explain things, the more problems that they had. And this movie wanted to explain things. It just didn't do anything very well. And we talk about perfection being a lot of little things done well. This is everything done poorly. Yeah. So this is bad.
I think you could have immediately, helped the film by getting to the fucking point sooner, getting to the action, getting to the outbreak sooner. At some point, I looked at my watch. It was 1 hour and 15 minutes in, and that's when the movie began for me. That's how bad it was.
What scene
because
was that?
It was basically when they go into the mansion and then they have the zombie turn around. That's when it's like, take that scene out. Or no, actually the helicopter flying, because the helicopter flying through the, going to the mansion is the opening of the first game. And it would have been a perfect hook to move that sequence to the front and then say, 7 days later, and then kind of get some action in front, get some creep in front. And, but instead it's all packed into that rushed third act.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like an hour and 15 minutes in, the movie runtime is an hour. It's 107 minutes. So
you had 15-ish minutes of
Oh, well, you got to subtract the 30 minutes of previews that we were subjected to first. So it would probably be what at 55 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
When the film is on, that just shows you how rushed it is.
Yeah.
Because we got there at 3, and I looked at my watch, and it was 4:15 when that that sequence
it takes a
Joe.
while. It takes a. That's
They
what I'm
also
saying. Like
do-
it takes a long time though.
It does take a long time, and as a fan, it's like, fuck, I already know what's coming. Let's get to it, you know? Let's explore the Resident Evil universe. Let's get to the Umbrella stuff. Let's get to the zombies. Let's get to the monsters. Let's get to these characters interacting what we know and love as the Resident Evil series. It just takes a little too long to get there. And they try to put a timer mechanic on it. They're constantly showing, okay, it's 11 p.m.
I hate when
Now it's midnight.
I hate it.
Now it's 1. There's no point in it other than the fact that we know that at 6 a.m. they're going to blow everything up. But you could have conveyed that with the single scene that it's going to be at 6 a.m. and then another character goes, it's 3, we got to hurry up. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that constantly to break up the film. Right.
Like the black screen, here's the time. Here's the time again.
Yeah.
I was like,
it's annoying.
okay, no.
But I do think, for me, the film is better in some aspects than the Anderson films, some of the worst Anderson films.
Like the last one.
It's not, yeah, exactly. I liked it better than the last one because it stays faithful. Now, it doesn't do a very good job, and I wish it was stronger. I wish they would have picked a more competent writer, a more competent director, which just so happens to be the same person, and was given a little bit better budget to pull it off. Or actually, you know, I know directors and writers and crews that can pull this off with limited funds. It just wasn't this particular creative team, and it wasn't this particular cast, unfortunately. So let's go to final verdicts.
For me, this is not going to be a good one. 3. This is going to be a 3 for
Ow,
me.
Joe, but it's a B movie. That's your thing.
Oh, yeah.
This came out in the movie theaters.
Yeah, that's completely different. It felt like a B movie with the terrible acting, the terrible cast. I honestly was mad the way they made Leon Kennedy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So you were like, "Fuck this."
I was like, why is he like this?
Why
This
is
is so
he-
stupid.
why
Like
is he an
you
idiot?
could write jokes in without making him look like the joke of the whole thing.
Right.
It's like
he has one good moment towards the end of the film. We'll talk about it in spoilers,
that was-
but it's
oh
but
my-
it's stupid.
It's so
Yeah, I wouldn't even see it a good
Well,
movie. That's not even good. That's
no,
a dumb.
it's
I
a
know,
dumb-
but that's that.
dumb.
But
I
it's
was like-
supposed to lead up to that, and it's like that's what you give him. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I was like, Leon is an idiot.
Alright.
So terrible acting, terrible CGI. Even like the zombie scene, it was pretty cool. But then like they started shooting up the zombies, and they use the same effects that we do. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, the same blood splatter
blood
effect.
splatter?
I was too to see the fucking, you know, it goes.
Yeah.
You know
The muzzle flashes in the darkness gave me fucking PTSD from Extinction.
Yeah.
I hated when they did that in Extinction, where I was on my eyes.
Yeah, but they use the same
Yeah.
free effects
I
that
didn't
we
see it.
do. So
And
No, I mean there were some good blood hits here and there was some good drooling and shit. It's crazy because there are some very good practical effects, but they
But it's, like,
flash for
really
seconds.
hidden.
It's hidden,
Yeah.
right? And then I guess because they were trying to hide the worst CGI.
yeah, and
Okay,
just
so-
when I thought it couldn't get worse, we had that CGI at the end,
Mm-hmm.
which was terrible,
Real bad.
real bad.
Okay.
So I just didn't really like it.
3.
Like 3. This is like once we play the board game, I'm probably gonna forget about this movie.
Okay.
yeah, this one's really far below average. I was trying to justify myself giving it a 2, but I think 2 may be too low because there is a beginning and an end to this movie. I just don't think that there's anything good between any of those things. I think they do horrible things to the characters. It doesn't feel right.
doesn't.
They smash 2 stories together. It doesn't work. The sound
Rushed.
effects don't work. There are some good things in there, like the practical effects wise, but they hide it so much, and the CG is so bad that anything that they try to do with practical effects completely washes it away. The humor isn't there. There's overacting. There's underacting. There's underwriting. There's overwriting. This movie should be what's shown in film school to show what not to do when you make movies. This is so. I don't know who this is for either because this is
The main audience, like you
Fans
said.
will fucking hate this, and I don't even think mass audiences are going to like this either. Like honestly, I don't think that this is a movie where people are going to go, "Oh, I like these characters. This is the adventure that we go on. The movie's over." I think they're going to be lost because it is 2 stories shoved together.
You have to lower your expectations by quite a bit if you're
And I
even going to
did.
get close to
Oh,
like.
we did.
Yeah, but this
whenever
is-
we saw the trailer, we're
Yeah.
like, okay.
I'm just saying, you have to really lower.
So this is
Mm-hmm.
in a movie theater. If this was on Sci-Fi Channel at 2 in the morning, I'd give it a pass. to a point. You get a couple extra points. If this is on Netflix, one of their low budget things on Netflix.
I think I'm getting two different numbers. 25 million on the budget on Wiki, but then if you go to Google, 40 million. So it's either 25 or 40.
Yeah.
Definitely looks more like 25.
So I think that this is easily a 3. It is really far below average, and I don't know who this movie is for.
Yeah. For people who have never even fucking heard of Resident Evil and want a fucking Cliff Notes version of it done worse than simply playing the video games, the goddamn thing just narrowed itself into oblivion. So, yeah, unfortunately, not one that anybody is going to remember. What'd you give it?
A 3.
A 3. I am going to give it... Gosh, I'm usually more lenient in movies, especially if you're closer to video game material, and this is definitely that. I want to say I'm between a 4 and a 5, and I think I'm just overly generous with things. That third act, though, drags it down in the CGI, and it's like, Jesus. I'm gonna go with a slightly below average 4 out of 10 because of all of the different things piling up on top of each other. Now, it gets those 4 points for being very close to the video games, but it's like the closer you get to the video games, the more you have to do it correctly. And they just didn't do it correctly, especially because it's like, why would I want to watch this when I can just play the game? You just did it over. You just did it worse. And you changed some things around that made some characters worse, like Leon. That's literally unforgivable. And the cast just miscast roles left and right. Yeah, 4 out of 10. All right, guys. So that's it. Let's go to the spoiler section.
Everyone join us.
Unfortunately, I don't think we expected this one to be good.
No, nobody
but we expected it to be different than
competent.
And it wasn't. And that's the problem. So yeah, let's go to the spoiler section. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So, the beginning of the film, we've got the brother and sister in the orphanage, the Redfields, and it's the Birkin scientist is actually the orphanage head guy. And what he does is he secretly takes orphans and he fucking experiments on them so that he can create his serums and the G virus and the T virus, and it's all related to Umbrella. As a little girl, Claire actually is haunted or interacts with Lisa Travers, which is a character from the video games. And in fact, that kind of stuff was way more interesting than kind of like, because that gave it like a horror feel. Yeah. Unfortunately, they quickly dropped Lisa. They just was like, oh, what? No, I don't know. And went on to something else. That's the thing. That's why you shouldn't cram in 15 different films into one. Just focus on either the first film or the second film and then dive into it. But no, it was like a roulette wheel of characters that aren't as good as their video game characters. Anyways, so that's the kind of backstory to Chris. And then Chris grows up with, Mr. Birkin, who gives him everything, and Umbrella's done everything. So he's like, nothing is happening. Nothing is wrong. Don't worry about it. And then we have our Leon, Joe.
He wakes up. He's a drunk.
He drinks a warm beer.
So he wakes up and he
needs a
grabs
fucking
another
haircut.
beer. He's like terrible. He's supposed to be a fucking joke. He can't hear explosions.
He's incompetent with firearms.
Explosions that happen literally
right
in front of him.
Look, this is 1998.
That's from the video game. The fucking truck, flips over because, a dog attacks the truck driver. It was the truck driver's dog. They ran over an escapee from the orphanage when the dog started licking its blood. Anyways, the truck driver later on flips it, and Leon is literally at the front desk listening to some stupid song.
Okay, look, this is 1998. Those headphones.
Do you remember those headphones?
Those headphones are crap. Yeah. All right, there's no way there's noise canceling headphones on the CD player.
Headphones.
Yeah. There's an
Even
explosion.
Noise canceling headphones, you would feel the flames. It's so stupid.
And he's just like sleeping on the job.
I'm glad I gave it a 4.
He's
Oh, it
just
gets
sleeping
worse.
on the
It does get
job,
worse.
and then the guy comes out charging him.
He's
all in
Putin. He's
flames.
Putin walking like on fire. He's a zombie
Yeah,
walking towards him.
It's in sync with the song, so I
Yeah.
guess that's supposed to be a funny scene, which they loved.
Right.
People, they're like,
Well,
oh my God,
those
that's
people were dumb.
amazing.
Yeah, it's like why are we doing jokes at like monumental moments in the video game, and either they're doing a joke or the CGI looks jokey where you're like, what the fuck?
And then the police chief shoots a guy who's on fire who just crashed a truck into the police station.
Yeah, but
and
it's cool.
And he's just like,
Yeah.
this is a normal thing that's happening. You would be freaking the fuck out.
Well, the way I took that, Alex, is the police chief knows what's going on, and that's why he's trying to get the fuck out of here. He knows about Umbrella. He knows
I'll
that
let
these
that one
guys.
slide.
I'll let that one slide.
that he knows?
Yeah,
He would have got the... No.
that's what the fuck he's packing up and leaving.
That's after the everything... He starts packing up after the fact.
He knows. He knows. Anyway, so Leon is fucking. What we're trying to say is Leon is incompetent.
Yes.
You
His
butcher his
backstory.
character.
Don't forget his backstory.
He
What
shot
is
his
his backstory?
He shot his partner in the
shot
asshole.
his partner in the
Again,
ass.
played for laughs, played for you're a bumbling rookie moron, and he doesn't fight against. He's like, yeah, I did.
Yeah, so
that
they
happened.
transferred him to Racoon City because he was terrible.
Right.
And he shot his partner in the ass.
Yeah, this is okay.
Yeah, I was like, what?
He's played as a joke for almost the entire
Yes,
film,
made
and I
me
thought
mad.
maybe he would get his moment. Now, we'll jump ahead here because he does get his moment. Joe, what happened? You don't want to jump ahead?
Okay,
No, I wanna jump ahead,
This is so
but this
fucking
is-
stupid. Okay, so he's fighting. Chris is fighting Nemesis about this far away.
Well, that
This
ain't
far
Nemesis,
away.
but yeah,
Okay,
it's just a monster
It's just
Birkin.
a monster, terrible.
It's a monster Birkin that looks like it's from the Spawn movie. That's how
Yeah.
good the CGI
The
is. in this
head
fight.
on it was so bad.
was.
Like,
It was terrible. Okay, so...
So it's us two, and then out
Uh,
of nowhere, fucking Leon shoots a rocket,
and Chris says,
and Chris is like,
"Oh shit!"
is that a rocket launcher?
And he shoots it right at the guy, at the
no,
monster.
he says, "Oh shit!" And then it fucking blows up, and
Chris is like,
And then
whoa, dive. Oh,
like the
everyone,
cheapest explosion I've ever
Okay,
seen.
they're in a
Everyone
tiny
okay?
train car. They're in a tiny metal train car.
All right, well, you're gonna get comments that, well, it's just like the video game. It's just, Chris punches a boulder. It's an explosion.
It's dumb there too.
yeah, okay.
he's like, oh, I got this in first class.
He's like, what is that, a rocket launcher? I got it in first class. That was Leon's only moment of the film where he isn't a fucking idiot.
None of these characters had arcs. Nothing. Everything
No,
was
you're
just
right. None of
dull.
them had
Dull
arcs. I guess
all the way across.
Claire ran away because she was going to be experimented on. She left her fucking brother behind.
To get experimented on, maybe. She doesn't know.
That's what I'm saying. What kind of fucking sister? Okay, and then she comes back. What was it? 5 years later? Or no, they haven't
5.
talked for 5
Yeah.
years, but it's been longer than that. So she finally comes back and she breaks into his house, and he's like, "Don't steal my motorcycle." She steals his motorcycle later on. But anyways, there's so many unresolved plot lines, as if they think that this is so awesome that they're going to get 15 movies like Anderson got, right? Because they're planning on these seeds. Number one, Chris is drinking the same fucking water that everybody else is drinking. She even points it out. She's like,
"How
Chris,
come
how
you're
are
not-"
you
Yeah.
not? Never brought up again. It just pours out the water. It's never fucking brought up again. I guess it is brought up by the conspiracy theorists. So they have this conspiracy theorist dude who, I don't know, is just a weird looking mofo.
Yeah.
Looks like a rat. I thought he was going to turn into a zombie, but no, that's just the way the guy looks. And then he's like whatever. And he says, oh, you rich people, I guess they try to do poor people versus rich. I don't know. He's like, you people have already gotten inoculated, or he didn't use that word, but it seems like he thinks that they have already been immunized against it.
But we know the
we
T-virus
don't
is
know-
out.
But we don't know that, and so I don't understand what's going on. So I don't understand why Leon doesn't get sick, Chris doesn't get sick, if it's like in the water and it's
The
just
Wesker
everywhere.
got sick. I don't know why.
Well,
anyway.
Claire didn't get sick, but one of the first scenes in the movie, we know that the T-virus is out of Raccoon City.
Yes. Well, yes. So that more movies, Alex. That's the only thing I can think
no.
of. They don't address it at all in the film either. So, anyways, what else? The police chief's role is expanded. He's like, Leon's like, sir, the whole film, and the police chief's like, nah, you're upgraded, I'm leaving, and he leaves in his shitty car, and then there's a fucking checkpoint, and the Umbrella just starts murdering everybody because there's an argument, but yet there's still people at his car that are not running away because they're being
he's
blasted.
like,
let me in. It's like they're literally blasting 4 feet from you, and you're still just wanting to get in the car? No, you would have run. It just like kind of scenes like that is stupid. Then he backs up, goes back to the police office, and that's when we get our dog scene. So he gets out of the car. It's creepy. The lights are flickering. See, at times the film seems to be setting up something good.
Yes.
Right? And at times it looks right. You take out these individual scenes and you give them to more a competent writer or director or somebody else, and they will work. But for some reason here, it doesn't quite work. Whether the CGI ruins it with the dog, he bursts through the window. I didn't even jump. I had felt no tension, no scariness. And then he corners him. He's got no bullets left because I was counting the bullets that he was firing. And
at least was that consistent?
Yeah, it was consistent.
Okay.
That scene was
good.
consistent, though. Yeah.
Unless it was an 8-round, because there are 8-round chambers, 9-round chambers. This was a 6-round chamber. Anyways. So then the dog is about to jump on him, but then just then Claire shows up and starts beating the fucking dog with a fire hydrant. And then Leon, the fucking resident idiot, comes by. He's like, "Oh, you freak! Stop right there!
Drop the gun!
Drop your gun!" And she's holding a fire extinguisher. And it's like,
do you see what Joe's talking about? No wonder you fucking hated this film, because Leon's one of your favorite characters.
It gets worse after that too, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so after that, he's like, "Drop the gun." I was like, "It's not a fucking gun. You could clearly see what the fuck it is.
You can assess what just happened. You know,
even the chief is like, just
shut the fuck up, Leon."
Then he hears somebody in the jail cell. He goes downstairs. He goes downstairs. He sees that nerdy guy.
Yeah.
The nerdy guy grabs him, pulls him. I was like, come on.
And steals his gun.
Steals his gun. I was
this
like,
gun.
What
This
is
guy
wrong
who's
with
twice
Yes.
as small as he is.
Leon
and Leon.
Leon's like,
son.
oh.
You missed the scene where he picked up a
God.
shotgun and he doesn't know how it works. He's like, "I found this is a shotgun."
And here's what the movie's
broken.
explanation of how stupid Leon is. He's like, "You're probably wondering why I'm a cop, right?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm wondering that myself." That's it. That's his explanation for being an idiot. It's as if they hated Leon or something.
Yeah.
Or they got him confused with Carlos. They watched our review where Carlos is like, Joe's like, "Watch my back." And Carlos is like, "Your back just got hit twice." That kind of incompetence.
It was so fucking bad. Even throughout the whole thing, he's a running joke because they're like, "Oh, you're alive." He's like, "Yeah, I'm surprised too."
Yeah, it's, I don't know. He was used as comedy relief because the idiot audience that was like, "Oh, we've never seen anything like this. This is fucking great." Play Resident Evil. Somebody needs to give him a copy of Resident Evil stat.
Again, you could write jokes
Anyways.
without making a character the butt of your joke.
True. And so, yeah, so we were annoyed by that. Shit goes down. It takes a while for the residents. Residents are bleeding from the eyes. They're like, "Nah, don't worry about it. I don't need to see a doctor."
I always
Are
bleed
you
from
an
my
idiot?
eyes.
Like, what? Okay, fine. Is there even a doctor in the city? I doubt it, but okay. So then their hair's falling out, and they all get to the police office. "Let me in. Let me in." Eventually, they break it down. And in this film, there's a fuck ton of zombies, but you don't see them. They do their best to cover them at most times. So the police, office gets rushed by a bunch. In the Spencer mansion, there's way more than there is in the video game. It's like goddamn World War Z up in there or something, because they are fucking firing off all their MP5
this
rounds.
place
It's a good thing they got
empty.
drum mags on the MP5s, because
Right,
there's
I
one
noticed
scene where
that.
he fires like 300 rounds. It's like, you got.
They made sure to do. I was wondering if somebody else noticed that, because I love firearms and I'm counting fucking shots. I'm like, that no.
What?
Did they have drum mags? And I was listening for reloads. There were no reloads. And then so they're in the mansion, and then they get the scene. The first time you ever see the zombie just in the video game, they did that 1-for-1.
Good.
And then hell breaks loose, and a bunch of people die. And then they have the helicopter. Vickers gets killed by a zombie, but for some reason he lifts off the helicopter and then slams it into
How is that even
the mansion.
possible?
I have no
While
idea.
he's getting attacked.
No,
he
it's
was
fine.
grounded.
It was because Itchy Tasty, Joe.
Itchy Tasty.
Oh.
He was Itchy Tasty at that point.
So
No,
if
what-
you're fighting with
Which
somebody
you
like,
have-
oh no, let me turn on
Yes,
everything.
'cause I
wait
guess
for this thing
they
to go
still
up,
have
and then go, and then
consciousness.
take off exactly
Yes.
into the mansion
Yeah.
while I'm fighting.
Itchy
That-
Tasty.
that-
I gotta go pick him up. Itchy
Yeah,
Tasty.
that part I buy. Wesker gets hit by a helicopter that crashes into him.
No,
They dove.
Jill saved him.
So when you see the helicopter burning, they are 3 feet away from the helicopter that is on fire. The helicopter.
Remember the rocket. Remember the rocket.
There is no splash damage in this universe.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay, yeah. So they are
Exactly.
3 feet from a helicopter that bursts through this side, and they're just like, "Oh, cool, I'm totally fine right
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
now." Yeah.
That's how it works, Alex. Duh. Yeah, because the whole room
Aiken-
was engulfed in flames.
At some point, Aiken is killed. One of the member of the Stars is some generic guy. They don't have Barry in there. Pissed me off. And then, so hell breaks loose at the mansion, and then they realize, oh, okay, so Wesker, obviously Wesker, one of the more charismatic, famous,
Not
Resident Evil
very
character.
charismatic.
Yeah, but it's early Wesker where he's betraying the team and he's trying to get the information. So. Apparently, he already has a deal with somebody that's trying to steal Umbrella technology, and he's given a side mission and told exactly where to go and get it all. And it turns out to be from Ada Wong that was helping him out the whole time. We see her later on in the film, but his mission is to capture the virus and the assets. And so he, he's with Jill. Jill is like in love with Wesker, or is just attracted to him, and she goes with him, but Chris likes Jill, and so it's like this love triangle kind of thing. They don't really explore it very much, but it's the reason why when he's like betraying people, she doesn't immediately go off on him. She's like conflicted. So he goes on this underground passage. He does the whole piano thing. They got that from the game, the piano thing. And he ends up in the same location that William Birkin is at, trying to rescue his family. There's a gross scene of like one of his experiments. There's like, like a fucking conscious person with their guts ripped out. I was like, oh man, that's scary. But yet it's not film scary. It's not.
How long
there's
was
no
it,
impact on.
How
on
long
that
do you think
dead
he was in
body.
that lab for?
I don't know.
Because he
Why?
took off. Well, Jill was in the middle of the road. So he's like, "Oh, we're going to the lab."
Right.
And then all that stuff is going on.
Yeah,
How long?
yeah.
It's a
You're
small
just-
town.
don't do
it's a
that,
small,
Joe.
It's a small
Just don't do
town.
that.
I'm pretty
Don't
sure it
do-
took
don't try
like
to
5
time.
minutes.
Okay, so then they show up at
He's
the
in the
mo-
That's not
lab.
even the worst part. The zombie chases is faster than a train
Yeah, that's true.
in the final tunnel.
What, the boss?
The boss is faster than
the
a moving
final
train.
boss pulled an alien queen, guys. You know it. He was already on the train the whole fucking time. And so, anyways, he gets there at the same time, and William's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna give you my research." And he's like, "You give it to me." And then they shoot each other. So Wesker has a bullet in him, and the scientist dies, injects himself, and then his wife picks up the gun for no apparent reason and thinks that she's gonna shoot him. She gets shot in the head by, Wesker, and then the little girl it's like one right after the other. She picks up the gun, and then he's about to shoot the girl, but then he gets shot by
Jill.
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 Jill shoots him.
Yeah, Jill shoots him, and he's like, and he tries to say, I was never gonna shoot the girl. I just needed to get this so I can get the hell out of here, and he seemingly dies. But we see at the after credit scene. What Alex was talking about is he wakes up in a body bag and he's writhing around. I didn't really notice it. He's just like, he gets up in the body bag and he manipulates himself out. And Ada's like, he's like, why can't I see too well? And she gives him his glasses, and it's cool. And then I said out loud in the theater, I said, you should have brought more. Because that guy was way more.
I thought he was going to throw the glass into
and it was
going to
hit my face. That's my opening for, what was it, Resident Evil Afterlife 3D?
3D.
I actually, if the film is going to be fucking stupid,
Yes.
it has to be that comedy
Yes.
stupid and that over-the-top B-movie stupid. And I like that Wesker better than this Wesker.
Yeah.
You should have brought more. Anyway, so he puts his glasses on, and now we have our original Wesker. Ada Wong is helping him. She's probably injected him, and so now he's gonna be, the villain or something. They managed to save the little girl, Birkin, which is just like the end of Resident Evil. So you've got Leon and Claire with the little girl saving her. They find Jill. Well, and Claire, too. They all get on the train under the city and try to get out of the city while the city is exploding on top. The mansion falls into the pit. There's like 2 explosions. I was expecting a nuclear explosion.
Me too.
Or
I was like,
something.
wait, are they going to destroy the whole city or just the
Mansion.
the
It's not
mansion? I was
fucking
like-
clear. It needs to be visually more. And then they show a cow with the worst CGI I've ever seen.
I just watched Kung Pao Enter the Fist last night. It was close.
Yeah,
it was
that
very
was very
close.
close. And an explosion wave from an explosion I don't really see. I guess the ground is crumbling, so they made a crater, and then the cow does a flip, and then he turns into Kung Pao.
Yeah,
and
he
it-
flew
and
off
it's a
to-
better. Yeah. Anyways.
Is
Cool.
Is that
And then the
is
monster.
that a joke? Is that
I don't-
supposed to be a joke?
Well,
I don't know.
Okay, but first I skipped ahead a little bit because Birkin turns into his first form of the monster because he injected himself. He got little eyeballs, and I was like, oh, okay. You know what? The budget's $25 million. It doesn't look the greatest, but I do like the design. I was like, look, that's staying close to the video games. Got the eyeballs, and then because they've done some re-movement of the characters' backstories, he's able to taunt Chris a little bit. You know, hey, good soldier boy, you know, because he helped raise him and stuff. So there's supposed to be a little bit more character stuff there, but you don't feel any of it. It's just like
the emotion's
flat,
not
dull.
there.
There's no
Everything's-
emotion, no
there's
tension.
no dynamic with any of the team.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Exactly. And he ends up, you know, no, Claire shows up, I think, and shoots all the eyeballs and, you know, knocks him down first. Anyways, once they get on the train, we did the Alien Queen situation. You know the fucking monster's on the fucking train, and there's something down there, and then the monster rips through the roof, and you got the terrible, terrible CGI on his face on there. And
In
then,
the hand that grabs Joe.
and then the a violator face, or it was more like a baby violator face on him, and then that's when Chris decides, oh well, you know, I shot about, I don't know, 300 rounds in the mansion. I know what will work on this monster. I'll shoot him with my pistol, and then he's surprised when he runs out of pistol ammo. But luckily, Joe's favorite character, Leon, is there to save the day with the rocket. Kills everybody, including himself.
What the fuck? Are you an idiot?
No, everybody died at that moment. He fired the rocket, and the movie ended. Even the cameraman filming it died, and then the credits rolled.
He didn't die for a good cause, man.
No,
It's a terrible film. He's like, I died for a shitty movie.
Yeah. So then they did a little bit of a sequel bait. They want, you know, they want to do another one. And I don't really want to give them the opportunity to do what they did here with Resident Evil 3 and fuck that up, and then fuck up Resident Evil 4 with this joke of a Leon who's going to constantly be hitting the head upside the head by villagers in Resident Evil 4.
I was
It's
trying
not
to
gonna
think of
work.
something positive.
They're going to
like-
combine 3 and 4 in the next film.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something positive. The only thing is like, oh, he kind of looks like Chris, but
That guy.
that's it. He just looks like Chris.
Yeah.
That's the only positive, though, unfortunately. And then I don't want to see another one because what are they going to do with the
So,
second one?
you
They're
know
going to
what's-
mesh up all the other ones?
Yeah. You know what sucks is at certain points, James Wan, when Resident Evil, the final chapter, that abomination was released, they were working on this pre-production. At one point, James Wan expressed interest in the project. I think he would have made something good,
Something
but
better,
then he
yeah.
dropped out. And then another guy, Greg
Oh, I read the
Russo, was
script.
attached to Ride. Russo, who was doing some things at the time, but then the director came in, and then he did his thing where he's writing it, and
Yeah, he did.
Johannes Robert. So, anyways, it's more faithful to the video games, but it's just less inspired, less creative. It's done worse, and it's dull ultimately with some bad CGI at the end. I'll give it credit for trying.
You're giving a participation trophy?
A participation trophy. Well, I gave it a 4 out of 10,
Just
so that's
wait.
about as maximum credit as I can give it.
If you saw it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right.
We already here.
Well, we ran long, but you know what? I like Resident Evil. We like Resident Evil, and we wanted to show you how shitty it was, and you don't need to see it. So don't bother. I should have put this in the review. Don't bother going out and see it. Waste your money. Wait till it's on fucking Netflix. This thing will be and VOD.
Well, I think we got
real
a point
quick.
across whenever we were talking about it.
You're right. This will be a VOD real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's it for Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City. Thank y'all for watching. If you would like supporting our show, if you like these extra movie reviews, consider contributing on Patreon or our YouTube join button, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.